on? Is Asher coming at you today in Clash Royale. I'm joined by my good friend ClashWITHShane. Shane, what's up, dude? How you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm happy to be here. We have honestly something great to talk about today, so I'm excited to go over that in the video.
Yeah, dude, I gotta say, it's a weird video. We recorded a 20-minute video. I thought it was a good one. I don't know about you, man, but I thought it was a banger. We recorded it yesterday, and now I can't upload it because all we did was complain about how broken ladder was, and then today we had Supercell responding to it. So
Yeah.
let's start with what the change. Before we get to the complaints, let's talk about the old system, talk about why the community was in an absolute uproar like I've never seen before, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm not being hyperbolic there. I've never seen this much hate or complaints, I guess, a nicer way to say it. And then
Yeah.
let's talk about the change or what they've decided to do. So
Yeah.
essentially, why don't you tell us about it, Shane? Because you're the one who was really outspoken about this early on.
Yeah, so basically what happened was in season 18, last month, basically they made a change where anyone below 6,000 trophies would lose more trophies from a loss than they previously were in season 17. And it was crazy, man. Like everyone had a terrible time pushing trophies. Everyone at season end was like 500 trophies below where they were previously. Nobody was having fun. And we saw so many people getting upset and frustrated and a million posts, comments everywhere, social media about people just like losing hope and giving up on the game. So it was like you mentioned before, I've never seen the community be this outspoken on how upset they were almost unanimously of like everyone came together. It was like, we hate this change. We're frustrated and it's not fun. And it was just crazy. So that was the change. If you guys are watching right now, we're wondering why you had a hard time pushing last season on ladder. That's why. It's because they made a trophy change on ladder that affected everyone below 6,000 trophies. And it was just not a fun season overall at the end there.
Yeah, dude, like it was post after post, day after day, tweet after tweet, day after day, rightfully so.
Yeah.
And obviously we agreed with them. Like, what were they thinking with this trophy change? It's funny, we said in the video that I'm not going to upload yesterday, how could anybody be in favor of this, making trophy pushing more difficult for everybody across the game? And we hadn't seen anybody for this change until today. It's funny because people came out of the woodwork today and they're like, now they're mad they reverted it. But
yeah.
Anyway, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, yeah, dude, the hate was insane. Like just every single day, there were just more and more and more posts about horrible ladder. No normal player can progress anymore. Essentially, let me throw it to you, Shane. Let me ask you, do you see any upside in the way that things are right now? Because the changes, the reversion hasn't gone into effect yet. Do you see any change, any pros to this?
Any upside above 4K trophies? No. I mean, obviously there was a reason why they implemented the change to begin with, which we'll kind of discuss in a moment when we talk about like why they're reverting it and what they're doing with the reversion and stuff like that. But there was a reason that they added the change to begin with. There was a problem in the game that they wanted to address. But unfortunately, it had that massive side effect for everyone above 4,000 trophies, which honestly we kind of all saw coming. But it didn't really come into full effect until the season end, where everyone kind of saw that they were getting nowhere near their personal best. But
yeah. And this guy touches on a good point too, Shane. This Alex CR, he says it's also not just a nerf for trophies, in general, which doesn't feel good that you're always going down in trophy season after season or becoming exactly stagnant.
Yeah.
But also trophy rewards, right? On Trophy Road, like you weren't hitting them anymore what you used to hit. So you actually get less rewards, not more rewards, as they say.
Yeah. But thankfully, we have some hope here now. So
yeah, so people are very, very mad. You're very, very mad.
I was very vocal on Twitter. Yeah. This was I think
to your credit,
Sunday.
Yeah, this is a couple of January, so 2 days ago. You went out there and again a lot of traction on this post. Basically, again, without kind of belaboring the point here, you just express how utterly defeating, in your own words, it is knowing you could never push higher again, essentially. And then I said, want to come on chat about this tomorrow, record a video that we're never going to release. And then, other people like Night Owl has been very vocal about this as well. And Tag as well. And we actually saw like a few people weigh in. B-Rad also kind of basically saying it best, I guess, right? And he basically says, listen, without a sense of progression, what's the point? They should have it designed so no trophy records are obtainable every few months solely from inflation, or give us 2v2 ladder. Why not have the best of both worlds? And I think that at the end of the day, I'll see, I'll see if I can find that. You know, there was a few posts complaining about it. I kind of posted the news today. This is the big news just from a few hours ago from the time of this recording. But essentially, they're going to be reverting the trophy changes above 4,000. This is supposed to go down Thursday. So in 2 days from now, we'll see, you know, no guarantees there. But you'll now receive more trophies for wins again, essentially. So, you know, you've got to be happy with this fix, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not only am I happy about them reverting the change, but I'm also just extremely proud of how quickly they responded to community outrage. Obviously, it's the holiday season, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of the team was away for holidays. And we're only like 2 days in, I believe, into the new season 19, and they've already come out here and said like, "Hey, we're fixing it like immediately." So, huge respect to ClashWITHShane and the team for that prompt response to the change. Obviously, we're all kind of going crazy the last couple of weeks with the end of the season. So I don't know. It's good to see how fast they responded to that.
Me too. We're gonna read their official response and some of the the early reception to the Supercell response. I know that Drew is still like on vacation, so I think that Rick from Boom Beach Boom Beach
Heyday Pop.
From Heyday Pop formerly is as actually like kind of acting community manager right now. And I kind of want to get into all that stuff. But first of all, I do find it interesting that it's not just this Carlos dude that I have highlighted on my screen right now, but I have heard shockingly to me, from a few people who are against this change now. I do want to kind of discuss it because I don't think they're just idiots because they disagree. I think they bring up an interesting point, right? He goes, "WTF?" Even though thanks to that I couldn't go up that last season, I think it's the way it should be. Does it make sense that you can win more trophies than you lose? You should just go up because of your ability and consistency, not given trophies. We're just creating smug players. I think to rephrase that, he's saying that like, listen. Get better at the game if you want to go up in trophies.
Exactly.
Inflation is just placebo. I think that's his point. I'm not saying I agree with that, but because I have my own counter-arguments.
He makes a good point, and I agree with it. If we didn't have that previous system that inflated everyone's personal best, like if that previous system never existed, nobody would know the better. But because we all had personal best under the inflation system, to change it now is just you can't really do that. So I understand his point. I even seen one comment was like, "Hey, this makes sense. Like." Ultimate champions should be the best players in the game, and it should be exclusive to the best players in the game. Maybe it was a bit too easy to get ultimate champion, but like the argument to that is like maybe just raise ultimate champion up a bit in trophies instead of nerfing everyone, right? But
listen, Shane, I mean, aside from the trophy road thing, where I think that it does affect players' rewards, and that's messed up, right? Aside from that, I think that, listen, I think that having the feeling that you're progressing in the game overall psychologically is actually good for the game. Like, I mean,
absolutely.
I agree with I agree with Carlos there that like, listen, it doesn't mean you're getting better at the game necessarily, but it feels good. I don't care who you are. It feels good to progress a little bit after 5 years of this game,
Yeah. And I think that's the point that B-Rad actually made in his tweet was like, they should just artificially inflate it over time. Every so often, just to give people that placebo of like, hey, I'm getting better at the game. I'm pushing trophies. Maybe just, over time you add in like a new ultimate champion above 7K with more trophy road rewards and just, artificially inflate it over time. That way people get more rewards. They have more fun. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I agree with you. And listen, a counterpoint to, another point in addition to that, I think that, listen, we don't want, as time goes by in Clash Royale, there's less player base, right? I'm not saying the game's like dead or anything like that. I'm just saying that it's not at, whatever it was, tens of millions of daily active users every day anymore. And, we're seeing it already in challenges, Shane, like Grand and Classic challenges even are more difficult than they used to be, like by a long way. I could win Grand challenges back in the day. Now, it'd probably take me a week of grinding to get one. Probably wouldn't even get one. But the thing is you see the same thing on ladder, right? As less casual players are playing this game, it gets more difficult. So I think there's a natural inherent bias in the game to lose trophies every season as there's fewer players, meaning few bad players in the game. I think that more casual players tend to be a little bit less skilled, by virtue of them being bad. You see the point I'm making there? Am I missing anything, or do you agree with me? Like, no, I think it's good.
Like, I think it's like I said, the B-Rad adding the inflation just gives everyone a purpose to play ladder. And like ladders are last thing to do. Like you said before, challenges are basically a ghost town. Clan Wars 2, I've said in my tweet before that like It's Clan Wars 2. We won't really get into that in this video. It's like ladder was the last thing we had to do, and it's always been the backbone of Clash Royale. So it makes sense. Like, don't mess with it, and just do the opposite thing. Make it easier for us to push, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or at least counterbalance those players leaving, and
Yeah, exactly.
And the deflation, I guess. Anyway, here's the solution, right? So today, only a few hours ago, Drew makes a post. He said, "Let's start by saying thank you to everyone by sharing their opinion on the recent trophy win-loss changes that we introduced in Season 18. This change made players lose more trophies for a loss than they previously had." By the way, just a pause here. Shane, when you first read those patch notes, did you kind of raise an eyebrow like, I'm not sure if this is going to be good, or did you kind of just take it at face value that it would be better?
I think most people kind of just skimmed over it. I know I did for sure. I kind of saw that it was like trophy changes. It's like, oh, okay. And I think, like I said before, that we didn't feel that full effect until the season end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I kind of raised an eyebrow, but I was like, let's just see how it plays out. And then it just played out exactly how I guess intuitively you would think it would play out. Anyway, we've heard your feedback over the past few weeks, and we will post and and this post will be transparent about why we decided to make the change and what we plan to do to amend it. We're reverting the trophy change above 4,000 trophies. Why do we introduce this change? For players below 4,000 trophies, our goal was to pace a player's progression so they had enough mastery of the game and leveled up cards to be competitive before entering Legendary League. However, it would be a brutal experience if you get to 4,000 trophies. Otherwise, for players in the 4 to 6K range, our goal was to help better matchmaking and make ladder pushing fun while also being challenging. After the changes went out, it was quite clear from the community feedback that we did not manage to achieve this and instead created a frustrating mid-ladder experience for many. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, Shane, but why did they think it would be better matchmaking?
Yeah, that's the head scratcher for me. And you kind of mentioned previously, like when you were reading the patch notes initially, you saw that and you kind of raised an eyebrow to it. It's kind of like, was that even supposed to be a good idea to begin with? Like, I think we kind of all kind of knew where that was going to head by season end with the trophy changes. I totally understand what the objective was for below 4,000 trophies, but I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen and how frustrating it was going to be at season end. But ultimately, their goal here is that a new player that downloads Clash Royale for the very, very first time, the problem is they were progressing too fast. You could download Clash Royale and get Legendary Arena within a couple of days. And in reality, it should probably take more than a couple of days to get to the final arena of a game. Even as a free-to-play player, you can progress super fast. So that was the objective of this change, was to slow that process down a bit and give new players more time to upgrade cards and just kind of master the game as well before hitting that wall of Legendary Arena. So I think this is the perfect solution where they have that change in place for below 4,000 trophies, but players above 4K aren't affected by it. So
100%. I agree with you 100%. I like this fix. I like this change. I commend the team for acting, quickly on it,
Yep.
A good way to start 2021. It wasn't a good way to start 2021 yesterday we made the video, but now it's a nice way to see a quick response. But like even Night Owl was just like, and I think this kind of, again, drives the point home that this was not a better matchmaking experience. It was actually a worse, because it keeps everybody crammed together a little bit more, because, you're kind of treading water. And he says, pretty sure the problem is not fixed, Night Owl. Help Clash Royale. The trophy gain loss is not helping matchmaking. It's only making it infinitely worse. And then he goes on to share, to his credit, a screenshot of him bullying with max cards, some with level 11 cards, because everybody's clumped together. So
I felt so bad. Like this season reset, the very first day I went on ladder, I was at 4,600 trophies or 47. Like, I've never been below 5K on a fully maxed account in such a long time. And here I am logging on day one of season reset and fighting players at like 4,600 trophies. And I'm like, it's beyond my control. I wish I didn't get reset, but I kind of have to. And so I feel bad for fighting those players. But the good news here is they said to amend for that mistake next season in season 20, in February, that the trophy reset will be 25% instead of the traditional 50%. That way we can kind of have an artificial inflation to make up for all the trophies that were taken away from season 18, which is really, really cool to see. So if players had a hard time pushing season 18, I can almost guarantee that season 20 is going to be the season to try for a new personal best with the 25% reset.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what he says towards the end of this post here. So again, just to kind of repeat that, for players below 6,500 trophies, the reset will be 25% instead of 50%. So again, like Shane said, good time to push for a new PB next season. And again, he does actually go on to say officially that this will be Thursday, January 7th. They'll fix these changes. So you guys should, at the end of the day, be getting more trophies for a win than you do for a loss. Long story short. Shane, any final thoughts? I think that we've kind of said it all. We've kind of surmised the problem and the solution.
I think
we
kind of we've kind of discussed it as we needed to. Yesterday's video was a very, very interesting one, but I'm so happy to see.
I'm so happy we didn't upload it. It would have been awful today. It'd been like, what are you doing, Supercell? You suck. And they're like, oh, shoot. They fixed everything.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, but anyway, guys, if you don't already know, Shane, the most consistent, reliable, and just one of the long time best content creators for Clash Royale. Check out his YouTube channel. He's been on like a billion of my videos. Always kind for you to take the time out, Shane. Appreciate it. Use code Shane. Check out his social media as well. Everything will be linked below. Shane, thanks again for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, man. Happy to be here.
No problem, guys. That's going to do it for today's video. Big shout out to Stats Royale, to Clash with Shane, and to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below. Thank you. And as always, take care, guys. Boom.
Boom. All right,